welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. I am your host, KG. Next to me is the Hall of Famer, the superficial cooker, Bob Cook.
Hello.
Below me, as he should be, is the wrestling enthusiast, Mark. And
blocked out again.
And beside Mark is the best damn ref in the business. That would be George Strong. And of course, he's also the guy that we have on here to show that we love equality. So just want to put that out there. We are a very dysfunctional family here.
Man, do I stand out that much? We got
one of these things
on the
doesn't
show
belong. Now? One of these things isn't the same.
And when it all breaks up, it's Mark that doesn't belong. It's like, what?
That's it. I'm going to hang up again. I swear to God.
Oh,
God, don't make Kevin read.
Well, before we get into this, we got to have this discussion. So according to Mark, Dustin Rhodes has the best punch in professional wrestling. And he argued with me. And his exact words were, Bob Cook doesn't have the same stardom as Dustin, so Dustin has the better punch. So I argued that my buddy...
No. You were ass-kissing. You were ass-kissing.
Better punch. So I want to see you two go at it now.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hold on. To be fair, I've never seen Bob punch. So maybe that's not an accurate statement because I haven't seen Bob punch.
We have to go watch The Power of the Punch on YouTube.
All right, I'll look it up.
And not to mention, as the one who follows professional wrestling, you should just know the legend of Bob Cook being the best punch in the business.
The legend of Bob Cook.
Yeah. Are you saying the best punch in wrestling today or the best punch in wrestling? Because the best punch in wrestling was Jerry the King Lawler of all time.
I'll say today. I'll say of active wrestlers.
Cody Rhodes has a good punch too. Sometimes.
Yeah, but Dustin's is better.
I'll be the judge of that. Show me the video.
Watch AEW last Sunday.
I'm not paying for that shit.
What he said.
I watched the free show, and all I could say is, what a shame that those four beautiful women were the first ones on the show, even though I'd like to be the first one on those four beautiful women. Did I say that out loud? Yes, I did.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what? I didn't watch the NXT show, but I have to tell you that I was so happy that Joe Suck-Ass Hendry lost that damn title.
Like, I don't get that character at all.
I don't like Joe Hendry whatsoever.
I know, that's why I sent you that clip of him losing.
I don't get the appeal. What's his appeal?
I watched Battleground. The viral sensation, that's it. It's a wrestler that pretty much got popular being a YouTuber as opposed to Logan Paul being a YouTuber who's just popular. Joe Hendry just caught fire on the internet. I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just saying that's how he got popular.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Right.
I still don't like his character.
No, I don't get it.
He was Rusev's lawyer. back in the day, he was Rusev's lawyer.
Really?
I rarely say this,
yeah.
But I don't even think he is a great wrestler, to be honest with you. I really don't.
I think
very
he's
boring. Very bland. Boring look, boring style.
He makes Gunther look like he has a personality.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Yeah, no Gunther hate here.
I love Gunther. But that's
that would be like saying Nia Jax makes Piper Niven look like a model. And
hey now, that's George's girl, man. Don't be walking on Piper. George doesn't take that bullet for us.
He's more than welcome to it because I'm not getting in the way.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do buy.
There's one thing about that bullet, you wouldn't miss it.
No.
Like she don't miss a meal, you wouldn't miss it.
You could hide.
That's not nice, by the way. Body shaming. You know, body shaming has got some people in great shape. Not me, of course, but
nor me.
The mirror body shames me every day, but it doesn't do me any good.
Oh man, let's get into it. Mark, what you got for us?
I'm befuddled at this point, but hold on. Let's see. We start out with a recap of main event from Saturday night. Then we got Paul Heyman's
shocking.
Paul Heyman's group to the ring. You know, I really didn't take much out of that, to be honest. So go ahead, guys. Elaborate on it.
So here's for all you people that didn't care enough to watch the show last Saturday. Here's a recap.
I mean, I didn't mind it.
Speaking of punches, John Cena's punches on that show.
Saturday night.
Oh my
Terrible.
God!
Yeah,
Terribly.
So since we got into it, and we did a little bit of it, we're going to back up a little bit to Saturday Night Main Event. Mark and I talked about it briefly. I talked about the main event because, frankly, it didn't make any goddamn sense. So you have, and I'll tell you why. You have this title match between Uso and YouTube Logan Paul, right? Now, John Cena runs in there and cost Paul the title. And instead of Paul being pissed off about this, what happens? Oh, now they're partners. They're a tag team. Then you have Cody Rhodes, of course. Now Cody's now with Uso. It just didn't make sense. Why wouldn't Paul be pissed off and want to kick John Cena's ass for interfering in that match, literally costing him that title?
Those are those questions you gotta have when you're sitting there with your coffee and you're in the meeting and you go, Triple H, why? That's all. I don't know.
It's true. It does not make sense.
It's more beneficial for him to tag with Cena than to get buried by Cena.
Well, to make it make a little bit of sense, there was the segment where John Cena hinted that he was going to interfere in the match and try and help Logan Paul win. However, the small detail is that the referee was knocked out the entire time. All of this was going on. So really, Logan Paul lost the match with all the outside interference going on. John Cena didn't cost him. Now, to your point, in a nutshell, he did. They didn't exactly accept the match. Cody just made the match and say, hey, you got a tag team partner. They looked at each other like, what the, you know what? And, he's like, Jay's my boy, so I got my tag team partner, so we'll see y'all at Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
now, they made it official. They didn't accept the match. Like, they just looked at each other like they were stupid.
George, should make more sense if Logan Paul would have whipped John Cena's ass right then. Matter of fact, when John Cena first got into the match, I thought for a second that we were about to see a Logan Paul, John Cena issue because of the way Logan Paul was looking at John Cena. But of course, that didn't happen. It just didn't make it didn't make sense to me whatsoever. And I really think that they fucked that up, in my opinion.
Didn't explain enough because there's also the elephant in the room that John Cena did throw Logan Paul out of the Rumble. So
that's no way to talk about Piper Niven. It's not even part of this conversation.
I don't think that was
I know. I didn't like it. I didn't.
They got time to tell the story, brother. Just wait. Now, if they mess it up after that, it's another thing. That's WWE, WWE. I'm just saying, there's time to make it work.
Yep, we'll see.
A week and a half, but yeah.
Now, overall, the show wasn't terrible, but at the same time, I wouldn't say that I was jumping up and down saying this was a great Saturday Night Main Event.
But you know what? The good news is you'll be able to listen to a 30-minute scripted, boring as all hell promo on Friday from everyone involved. What you didn't understand from the last time.
Yep.
Since they brought back the Saturday Night Main Event, the last 3 of them or whatever it was, they've really all just been lackluster to me.
Yeah, I agree.
So
completely.
I actually didn't mind this one. I can't say that about the rest of them, but this one wasn't bad.
Well, like I said, it wasn't terrible, but it didn't leave me jumping up and down.
They just don't seem to have the same oomph they did back in the 80s and early 90s.
I remember Saturday Night's Main Event from 1985. I think it aired in 1986. Terry Funk against Hulk Hogan for the WWF title at the Sundome in Tampa. Guess who was in the crowd? Guess who got in free? Guess who was sitting there all happy? Me. Anyways, but that was a great time.
Well, must be nice to have that privilege.
Well, it was.
That's what I'm saying.
Not gonna lie. But the prices weren't $40,000 back then either.
Right?
$40,000 for a front row seat. Yeah.
Yeah, but you were only making $750 a match too.
Yeah,
very true.
Yep. But going back to Raw last night, like I said, I didn't mind this segment. Seth Rollins, though, with the way he dresses, man, they need to figure that shit out because it's distracting. Looks
Clown.
terrible. Terrible. It's hard to take him seriously as the leader of this faction. It really is.
The other thing that's disturbing is Paul Heyman's a great mouthpiece. Let him be that mouthpiece.
Right. What do you need Paul Heyman for if Seth Rollins is going to constantly do nothing but the talking?
Pretty much. Well, Heyman did do some talking, but
I was going to say Paul did some talking, but I mean that's the problem when you have a manager that can talk and a lead guy that can talk. But it's a
Like-
faction. So.
But the Grand Wizard and Superstar Billy Graham had that problem, but it was an awesome problem to have.
yeah.
You
All
guys
right.
already know who I'm talking about. Shameful.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely, I
Mark-
do.
Mark doesn't.
Billy Graham, man, look.
Billy Graham, I know who Billy Graham is.
Matter of fact, I will tell you that. So
He was a
there
preacher.
There was a lot of people who stole basically his character. Jesse Ventura was one of them.
But they admit it.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan was one of them to a degree. Absolutely.
And that'd be superstar Billy Graham.
Yes.
Correcto.
Yeah, you guys can't even get it right, but you pick on me saying I don't know who he is. Okay, whatever. Go away. All right.
No, I said none of you knew, so it wasn't just picking on
Yeah, he
you.
said all three of them.
Mark,
All
do you
right,
need a
fair
Snickers?
I have a Superstar Billy Graham action figure in my room. Kayfabe on that.
Do you need a Snickers, Mark?
I do. I ain't even gonna lie, man. I'm just kind of punchy today. Sorry. All right, so next we go to Chad Gable versus Penta versus Dragon Lee. You know what? When them guys took that sliding off that table, I was like, holy shit, fuck.
Yeah, when Tiger Lee, man, when it happened, the camera was just on Gable and Penta. The next year, there was like a missile that came in. And,
Right.
I was like, whoa, what the hell? Yeah, that was great. Best match of the night, in my opinion.
Who's that little guy with the bald head? Did he get him from the Micro Wrestling League or something? Never heard of him. Never seen him before.
Micro Wrestling. Right here.
Oh, no, you're
He's
talking
talking
about
about,
Vikingo. He's not
The guy who
he's
kicked Chad Gable and made him bleed.
Yep.
He's not bald. He has a mohawk.
Yep. And let me tell you
Oh,
something.
well, I just saw the bald part.
That
Still
guy
He has a big forehead.
Looks like Little Beaver from back in the day. Then
Look,
He
you guys don't know.
He
You
does,
guys
you're
don't know
right.
who Little Beaver is. Oh, Mark knows
No.
who Little Beaver is.
Yeah, I do.
listen. This
What
Although
about
Little
Beaver?
Beaver was a little taller. He was a little taller.
Have you guys actually seen this guy wrestle before?
No, he's phenomenal,
Vikingo?
actually.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy is absolutely. I mean,
Hey, I was actually watching AEW when he popped up.
yeah. He had a match
For the
He
2
had
weeks
a
he was
match
there?
against. He had a match against Omega, Kenny Omega,
Yeah.
and that match
Yeah.
was probably the best match AEW has ever had on air. It was crazy good.
It was better than Cody versus Dustin.
I'm sure he's fantastic,
That
but that
wasn't on
doesn't mean
Dynamite.
I care enough to tune in and watch him.
Cody and Dustin wasn't on Dynamite. That was
an
No.
awesome
I was
match.
just saying in AEW. In AEW.
no
the bloody
I
match?
mean on their weekly show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was a pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dustin.
The first
and
one, I
Cody,
think.
yeah.
That was a great match.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll nitpick at that. The only thing I didn't like about Vikingo and Kenny Omega, they took forever to introduce him on the little pre-video, talking about this is a dream match. And like, if you didn't know who Vikingo was, you're like, why is it a dream match? And that's all. I knew who he was by the time he got on there, but it's just like they could have introduced him a little bit better instead of waiting.
You know what?
I'm ashamed of myself.
If they didn't know who he was before that match, they knew who he was after that match.
I'm ashamed of myself
Absolutely.
because I didn't know, but I'm a wrestler, so I'm lying.
Damn, I missed it.
You know what? I want to see Bob Cook make a surprising entrance into the Royal Rumble.
Oh, that'd be fun. Get me a walker and I'll be there.
I was about to say, have you seen the walkways lately?
Give me one of those things they used at WrestleMania 3. You know?
Yeah,
He's a segue.
Yeah, I was about to say, like the Royal Rumble in San Antonio.
I don't think I can work one of those.
On the back of the golf cart.
Doesn't that take balance to work a Segway?
Somewhat.
Oh, forget it.
Once you get it rolling.
We could probably do it by remote.
That's what Piper Niven's boyfriend said.
They can just roll Bob in like they did Andre the Giant.
Well, that's what Piper Niven's boyfriend said. Just roll her in. This is very.
Her Bob.
That's not nice.
Is that what you're
You're gonna
talking
get a lot
about?
of hate mail. You're gonna get some hate mail.
Her Bob, her battery operated boyfriend.
Oh, that. Oh, I get it. Hey, you shouldn't be naming it that.
I didn't. Oh, God, it's gonna be one of those nights. I can feel it now. All right, so next we go to Judgment Day in their playhouse or wherever they call it. I don't know, treehouse or whatever. What's this with Roxanne Perez being with them? Is that something just last night, or has that been a couple
Last
weeks?
week. Last
Yeah.
week. We kind of glanced over that last week. So
okay.
Finn Balor brought Roxanne Perez in as an ally to the Judgment Day. And
Well, obviously she's failed already because she was offering Mysterio chicken nuggets, not chicken tenders.
she did. She did that last week too, and he took them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
it all happened last week. Yeah. No, that's why I actually liked this segment because it was really funny, and it was like Liv's back.
Well,
No, I want some chicken. Oh, what an outfit! Oh,
all this is to break up Judgment Day because
Finn.
I don't know. All right, so next we go to Rusev versus Tozawa, which was a colossal squash match.
I was extremely disappointed in this match because I thought we was going to get some really good spots with Rusev just destroying this kid, throwing him completely out the ring and beating his ass to make a point. Instead, it was a very quick match.
Yes, it was. But then after the match, he attacked him, and then Sheamus came out, and they had some words, and Rusev backed off.
Yep. This completely lost me. I'm not
boring.
Yep. Not a Sheamus fan, and I was whatever.
Well, I told you before they're going to screw Rusev.
Well, I was expecting Otis to come out.
Yeah.
And because it seemed like the way they were going, they were hinting that Otis was going to join Rusev. But I don't know.
I see it just as Rusev breaking people until he gets a good challenge, and the first person that's not doing anything is Sheamus. So, I mean, we're gonna get some matches out of it, maybe, hopefully more than one.
But the thing is that's not exciting.
Well, I mean, you can watch. Okay, this is me nitpicking. You can watch AEW with all wrestling and no story, but you can watch WWE just put together a match when they have two people that have nothing to do. That's boring, or is that?
No,
when it's those two people, yeah, it's pretty
right. And George, apparently you don't watch me and Mark's podcast on Wednesdays because if you did,
I think it's Thursdays.
Thursdays.
So if he's watching on Wednesdays, you'll be correct.
So if you're watching on Thursdays,
I got the wrong night.
Yeah, I'm the host. If you watch on Thursdays, you would hear that me and Mark picks apart AEW.
I mean, I've been on there Thursday and heard that, but I mean, it was a bad episode.
They've all been bad episodes lately.
What about Tony Khan's creepy hugs at those scrums after the pay-per-views?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm glad someone dodged that one.
Tony Storm was hilarious, as always.
She is. Tony Khan is the creepy uncle in the family that all the parents don't want their kids sitting on this lap.
They're the ones where the parents go, son, no matter how bad you mess up, we'll never make you get a haircut like Tony Khan.
Right. God, doesn't anybody tell him his haircut is just horrid?
Like, what is it, a 10-year-old being punished by his parents?
He looks like he could be the next Jarrett for Subway, is what he looks like.
Wow, yeah, okay. Way to get us hired, buddy. Way to get us hired.
You say he's going to jail, are you?
I'm just saying,
Tony, what you hired us to be writers, but you're a pedophile in waiting.
I'm sure that there's some weird things going behind those weird eyes of his. Weird things.
There goes that endorsement for the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Right, exactly. We probably lost like 15 subscribers.
Look, this podcast is a very small, little nothing podcast, and yet I was able to get a press badge for AEW that came to Minnesota. I mean, that says a lot, because I've sent WWE 1,000 emails, And you think that they're going to be like, oh yeah, guy with 168 subscribers, we're going to let you come in with the pass. No, because they are a real company. AW's not. They need to get their shit together.
But they let you in. Oh, you mean they shouldn't have let you in?
That was his point.
I'm just saying.
How to Make Friends and Influence People. I'm bringing you that book. I'm bringing you that book. God damn it. You're just not endearing yourself for us.
How to alienate myself from people who actually want me around.
Right. You know, how to get a potential job by insulting your future potential boss.
That actually wants me there.
Right. All right. So then we go to New Day versus.
Let me interrupt you real quick. So those who are watching on Facebook, by the way, a lot of you guys have been commenting, and the only way that we can see your comments on this podcast is actually if you go to YouTube. So for those who are commenting on Facebook and wondering why I never read them or whatnot, it's because I can't see them. So go to YouTube. Go ahead, Mark.
So then we go to New Day versus War Raiders versus the Creed Brothers or All Americans or whatever they are. I really had hopes for this match. I really did, but sadly I was let down.
Yeah, look, the Creed brothers need to go off on their own because they're good. They're too good to be in this faction. And what's going on, Lightning? Thank you for joining us, my friend. And let them go after the tag team titles, man. But them being in this faction, with as much as I love Chad Gable, it's not doing them any favors.
No, but it's doing Chad favors, I think.
Well, the whole faction thing for WWE is just to have everybody, just to have something for everybody to do. My whole point is just the tag team division on Raw in general. Like SmackDown's pretty much got it right now in tag teams. It doesn't matter if they're in groups or not. Like, I mean, even Berto and Angel are being used on SmackDown to chase the titles. Like, whereas you got to keep having New Day, Creed Brothers, and the War Raiders fight each other. I had no problem with this match. I enjoyed the finish more than the match because New Day just suckered the Creed Brothers. But in general, to what you're saying, even if they're on their own, I don't think the Creed Brothers are good mic workers, and they want people to be able to talk. So keep them the opposite of the Vince McMahon wanting to push that one person. Put tag teams in stables. That way, people that can't talk don't have to.
Yeah, it's just been a long time since WWE has had a really good tag team division. Matter of fact, Pat Tanaka was supposed to be on the podcast today. He had called the last minute. He had an emergency. We're going to reschedule. But in '92, I believe, the Oriental Express at the Royal Rumble opened it up against the Rockers. And I'm a firm believer, in my opinion, to this day, that is the best tag team match to ever happen at the Royal Rumble. But that year, 91, 92, that's been the last really good tag team division was really had by WWE, in my opinion. Just for some reason, for many years, just the tag team divisions just has not been there. Don't know why.
It hasn't been their focus.
Yeah, that's a big point of it. It's because they've only been focusing on the singles talent.
All right, we got anything else on that match or not?
Nope, there's no women involved, so Cook has nothing to say just yet.
Nope.
All right, well, the next party might. So Liv and Raquel are walking down the hallway. They run into Kairi Sane or whatever, Kairi Sane and Io Sky. Kind of give them a little bit of shit, saying the damage control they thought was busted up or whatnot. Kairi Sane challenges Liv to a match, and Liv says you're on.
That was great. I laughed my ass off when Liv said, "Oh, what? I thought you guys were broken up, or this is the reunion." Because of who they just got rid of. WWE just got rid of. So that was to me, that was funny. I laughed. I didn't mind this segment. Liv has really grown on me as a talent, Bob. So yeah, decent segment.
Yeah, I like her.
You couldn't have said that more dry if you tried. Yeah, I like her.
Well, it's
But
true.
how much do you like her, Bob?
I was wrestling in a strip club last Friday. I'd have much liked her there.
Dude,
But
you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. Time out. Oh, sorry,
Oh.
guys, in the Raw review. Time out. I seen your post
Oh, jeez.
about wrestling there. I actually shared it. I thought it was great. How was that experience wrestling at a strip joint? Were there dancers happening while you guys were wrestling? Did they stop the dancing and just focus on wrestling? Tell me.
Was there
what's
hot
going on.
wings?
Yeah, there probably was. I don't know. I didn't eat there. I don't like pubic hair in my food. But you know, they had the strippers.
This is in
I don't know.
1970.
But they had strippers dancing, then they'd have a match, then they'd have strippers, then a match. And best part is though, they'd never turn the lights up any higher, and they had the music playing really loud. So when you're laughing or in my case gasping for air, they can't hear you. You know.
So
you know what the most bizarre part was though?
What's that?
My wife was there, my mother-in-law was there, and my niece was there, who's 40 years old now, but still somewhat resembles her when she was young. And she used to come to our house. She actually called my wife and me her parents. But she was there, and when she was a kid, she'd go to the shows with me, and she'd bring my water to me or my towel, you know, because I always carried a towel to the ring on indie shows like Terry Funk, you know, because
a stripper?
I love Terry Funk. No, but she was bringing me my water and my towel at the show. And it was just like, it was so surreal, you know. I mean, my mother-in-law's there. She's like 88 years old. It's like, this is the most bizarre thing ever. And I actually had the most fun I've had in years in the ring. Even though the match sucked, I had an awesome time with the people I was in there with.
So my question is, when people, if they like the match, were they putting dollars in the guy's Speedos?
I wish. I made that comment. I made that comment before the show that I will accept tips in my singlet. But I even punched a girl.
Oh, why? Was there babies taking?
No, but she was part of the show. But
yeah.
You know what the dumbest part was? After the match, she goes, "You know, Bob, next time you do that, really lay it in." And I went, "You realize that that's not wrestling." I said, "My whole gimmick throughout my whole career and my work career, that joke, my whole time in wrestling was to make it look like as best as I can, not as good as Dustin Rhodes, but as best as I can, like I'm hitting you without hitting you. That's the art of wrestling. Make it look real without being real." And I'm trying to explain to her, no. And she goes, "Oh, but next time lay it in." But that's not what I do. And she goes, "Well, I'm one of the boys." And I said, "But I don't even punch the boys for real. It's wrestling." It's like, what? Try to explain.
Come on, hit me.
Right. It's like, no, that's not what I do. I mean, every once in a while I get carried away. Like I'm blind as a bat without my glasses, and the the place was smoky, you know, you could hardly see. And I used to throw really good kicks to the head really fast, you know. And I was really feeling good in this match. And I threw a kick, and I kicked the guy right in the mouth. And I grabbed him by the head and went, "Holy shit, I'm sorry about that." Then I punched him again. But we just had a great time, you know, with the Cuban assassin and this other guy, James Morrison, and the girl, and my niece, and my mom, and my wife there. It was crazy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right,
Mark. The strippers, you know, that was just, you know, whipped cream on the cake or whatever.
Yep.
The nipple.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've been really good on my my analogies lately. What I used on Saturday? We were talking about the price of tickets, and I said, "Oh, that's great if you want to, you know, draw people in like P. Diddy."
Yeah,
and Kevin just about lost his shit.
I'm like, P. Diddy is the first person. I said, "Why don't you just say R. Kelly as well?" I mean, fuck.
Hey.
I said P. Diddy was the first name that came to mind with somebody with money. You know, but God, for like 3 minutes, he just ribbed me. For 3 minutes, just ribbed me on that one.
Yeah, well, that's because P. Diddy ribbed a lot of people longer than that.
Oh, yeah.
We did it as a rib. We did it as a rib, bro.
And now the joke's on him.
Yeah. Well, the baby oil's on him.
So is some other things. So is some other things, according to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And male escorts stuff. I followed the trial. Why can't that trial be on video? It should be on video. OJ's was. I cried when OJ got off because I understood where he was coming from, by God.
Yeah, I mean, you know, P. Diddy, he was good on the mic, and now we know why. He was imagining it was something else.
So, oh, my God.
We're still going to get kicked off our platform.
Wait, considering what they've said in that trial, P Diddy makes more sense now, don't it?
It sure does.
P
He's got a
Diddy.
point.
Yep.
P on me Diddy. I mean P did. Oh, never mind.
That was
He peed
all
with his
good.
ditty.
Vince.
All right. So the next we go to Jey Uso to the ring, followed by Gunther right afterwards. And Gunther kind of gave him props and then pretty much said, "You don't have enough intelligence to carry that belt."
Yeah. I didn't mind it, believe it or not. I thought Gunther was decent on this promo. I actually thought Jey Uso was the one that was kind of lacking last night with the promo.
Well, yeah, whenever
Jay
the
lacking
word
on a
yeet,
promo? What? The guy that says one word had no promo skills? What are you talking
Probably
about?
bought
Kevin?
a
That's
house.
impossible.
Probably bought a house in the mountains with that one word too.
yeah, probably.
Creep.
I'm going to be the odd man in the room and say I didn't see this segment because I wasn't home at the time and I was actually busy. But when I watched the highlight of that, they really didn't show the wrestler promo. Pretty much just Jey Uso ending the promo. So that's let me know everything I need to know about it.
You know what irritates me about Jay, to be honest, is him trying to talk like he's in his 20s still.
See,
Dude,
and
Yeah,
that's what,
is he that ignorant in real life, or is that just like he switches it on like the
no,
ignorance?
I've heard interviews and he speaks like that.
Oh well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
He talks like that, but he doesn't have to think about what he's saying when he's being a person. In interviews, he sounds like a normal person that just sounds like that. In promos, he's trying harder to sound like that, and it's weird.
That's weird. It comes across as just ignorant to me.
Yeah, it's like you're stuttering because you're trying to figure out what to say, and you don't have to do all that. Just talk natural. It's like you don't have to get the catchphrase in right then every time you talk.
You know, when he starts to stumble, all he has to say is yeet.
Yeah, well, if you listen to Jimmy's promos, he speaks like an adult. There's such a huge difference between the two when it comes to the promos.
Yeah, so is their paychecks, I'm sure.
Yeah, was it Jimmy that was getting in all that trouble, 10 years ago or so?
Yeah, Jimmy was the one that kept getting the DUIs and everything.
Right. It seems like they keep on punishing for that. And
which one's married to Naomi?
Jimmy, I think.
Poor guy. She just looks like she'd be annoying. She's like Natalia. Oh my God! You ever watch Total Divas? I used to love Total Divas, but every time Natalia come out, I was like, God, Tyson Kidd. How is he still alive?
Yeah.
She's a
How is Tyson
queen,
Kidd still alive? It was horrible.
Drama queen.
You know, I like Natalia as a character, but yeah, outside of wrestling, yeah, she's just something scary. You know, she's that Karen Canton woman.
Yeah, and people will say, "Well, the show was scripted." Yeah, but part of that was real. She was real annoying.
Yeah, I was about to say you can't script personalities.
Yeah, right. You're gonna go, "Hey, Natalia, people like you on the wrestling show. Why don't you make them hate you in real life?" Right. Oh, that sounds good. No, it just comes natural. I fell in love with that Paige though on that show. She has an awesome personality.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
She has a way with championship belts too. Oh, I went there. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Even the
if you know, you know.
When the Judgment Day, when they were cutting a promo against Paige and whoever, no, it was the Usos that cut a promo against the New Day, and I think it might have been Jimmy that brought up about
the freestyle on the 4th of July. They brought up the whole thing.
Right. So going back to Paige, she is not with AEW anymore, and supposedly because The Rock is in the position that he's in, and she's very close to The Rock, we may be seeing her come back pretty soon.
She's got a pretty popular YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't like her that much.
Where she does a podcast. It's a very popular podcast.
I'm sure it is. I'm just not one of them.
Right.
Like, I am not interested.
I've seen enough of Paige.
You're going to no-sell that one, huh?
If you know anything, I've seen enough of Paige.
They brought Paige to AEW. Then Tony Khan made Paige form a group that was very much like a female version of the NWO. That failed miserably. And then after that, they did nothing with Paige.
Hey, but if we wouldn't have had that group, we wouldn't have had Thomas Tony Storm.
Right.
So the split up led to something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch AEW.
I know you do. Everyone who dogs AEW that knows what's going on each week, I'm like, you guys watch
Yeah, I was about to say it. No, I never not admit it. I just stopped watching it.
How was
people always people just rag on Monday Night Raw. And it's like, why are you watching it?
Right.
It's real simple. AEW is like Nickelback. Everybody hates on them, but they all listen to them.
I love
Turn that song up.
I love Nickelback. I never understood
Turn that one song up.
Yeah, I never listened to Nickelback.
How was the AEW pay-per-view on Sunday?
It was better than we had. Well, it was good.
Yeah.
There were some low points, but for the most part, it was good. And the last match was excellent.
Absolutely excellent.
The first match, surprisingly, was excellent.
I say, believe it or not.
And Dustin Rhodes had the best punches on the show. We know.
Monet.
We know what Mark was watching.
Monet and Hater had one hell of a match. The best match that I've ever seen Monet in. The match that I hated, it was half of it with fucking them playing a stupid song throughout the freaking match. Or to at least half.
Trying to be New Jack.
Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah.
Trying to be like the gangsters.
God damn,
yeah, but don't they always play music during those matches or something?
So they used to do with New Jack.
Through his matches, they play music still.
New Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Jack's dead.
When ECW
when he was alive.
Before, yeah. And I've been witness to it in person.
The Gangsters. Wasn't it called the Gangsters with that other guy, Mustafa or something? I don't remember.
Mustafa. When they got rid of him. But yeah, you always knew when New Jack was coming because the music was played basically until he lost the match.
I just think that is very distracting and it takes away from a match when they're playing the music, especially if they play the same song 3 to 4 times in a row. I
think that song was long enough for New Jack, though. That's the good part.
Yeah,
it was like 6
same beat
minutes long.
Yeah,
but the same beat the whole time.
Right. Once they stopped the song, the match was really good. But yeah, I mean, the pay-per-view at that point, I was giving it a C just because of that stupid shit. But they had a couple of matches afterwards that followed. That was some pretty damn good matches. And I tell you, Hangman Adam Page performed the best he's ever performed in a match on this pay-per-view. It was just great. Absolutely great. So
yeah, the Eye of the Tiger. Nothing really. Jesus
He came
Christ.
out to that?
No.
Oh.
I don't know what the fuck Mark's talking about.
I was like, what? I thought he was going to enlighten us since nobody caught the joke.
Well, the Eye of the Tiger. I don't know.
Yeah, the Eye of the Tiger. Jesus Christ.
Right.
What part
he wanted to impress. He wanted to impress.
And I'm not talking about Katy Perry's song either.
They've destroyed. I like that song though. I like that.
Are you talking about? You're talking about Bob Sir.
What? Oh yeah, I love tigers. Anybody that would kill a tiger needs to die a horrible, suffering death.
Here's what I'll say: I didn't watch. I saw the first match on the pre-show for AEW because I was like, well, there's wrestling on this pre-show, so I'll just wait for NXT. I watched the free show. Battleground. I watched Battleground because I know I wasn't going to pay for AEW. I saw that it was a great show. I understand that it's their initial pay-per-view, isn't it? It's like their WrestleMania almost. So it's like I expected them to have a great. And I'm mad I didn't get to see that main event because I'm a big Osprey and Hangman fan.
So wait, if whoever paid $50 to watch this pay-per-view on Sunday, raise your hand. Yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say. I thought you were going to say was drunk. I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say anybody who would pay $50 was drunk, but
no, I paid. Actually, I had to pay more than $50 because they did not have their pay-per-view on what's the name of that?
Thriller.
Yeah, on Thriller. So I had to actually subscribe to Prime, and then you don't even get a discount. You just have
really
you still had to pay $50. Now, luckily,
$50.
luckily, I was able to get that $16 refunded back to me when I canceled Prime. As long as you pay, I found out as long as you cancel within 24 hours, they'll give it back to you. But this is something that Tony Khan needs to get a hold of, because there's times that you can get this pay-per-view over here, and then the next pay-per-view, then after that you can't get it no more. You got to get it here. It's too much. They've been supposed
I thought
to
that was the whole point of them putting it on Prime now. Prime, they're on. I thought that was the whole point. Like, is it on Max too? Because I mean, I have Max. I have a subscription to Amazon.
It's not on Max. It's supposed to be, but it's always been on Triller, always. And then apparently Sunday, only people who live outside of the United States was able to get it on Triller. There's too much inconsistencies with AEW, and that's a big problem that they have. That
The other thing is, they're overpriced. I mean, $35, yeah, I'd order it almost all day, every day. But $50, I don't care how good it is. $50 is too much.
Look, I can understand paying $50 for a WrestleMania because of the production. It's such a big production. That's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to just a normal pay-per-view, that especially AEW puts on, as good as it is, it's not $50 good.
No, it's not.
Before the WWE Network, it was like $49.99 for WWE pay-per-views, $59.99 if you wanted it in HD.
Yeah, they started breaking it down.
Yep. Now, rumor is that PLEs are about to go away and that they're about to go back to the pay-per-view.
They'll lose a lot of people.
Yes, they will.
I agree.
I won't watch them.
I agree.
Yeah,
but that's only if they can't get
a
it.
month to get rid of them.
That's only if they can't get a deal with NBC to keep it on the network or keep it on Peacock.
Well, their contract ends January, I believe.
Yeah, but still trying to make a deal.
I thought everything was.
That's the convenience, man.
I thought everything was.
Everybody thought that. I don't know what happened with the deal with Peacock, but apparently they extended it to January. So it's like they were, as long as you got it, whether it's premium or regular, you got pay-per-views for the rest of the time you're on there. But I know they're going to go to pay-per-view when they go to Netflix because they're not going to let you watch, Raw and then turn around and watch the pay-per-view practically for free because you're paying. Although it's like $30 a month just for the basic Netflix. So I cringe every time I see the bill. but that's the other reason I'm not buying AEW pay-per-view. Huh?
Peacock's less than $15.
No, it is, but I'm just saying if they switch to pay-per-views or some kind of way put it on Netflix where you can't watch it as a part of your service and it costs more to watch it some kind of way, I'm just gonna be with everybody else not watching it.
Yeah.
Yep. They've had these pay-per-views now or PLEs for what, 5 years with their own streaming service, and then with Peacock, and now you're going to go back to charging people $50?
Actually, that's actually been, believe it or not, 11 years. 11. 2014.
All right. So, basically we've been paying on the average less than $7 to watch these shows,
Yep.
And now you're going to come back and try to slime us for $50 a pop and probably $75 for WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam.
That's just internet mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, we'll see.
No,
I'll believe it when it happens.
I heard this from. I have someone that I know that works back office of WWE, in a small position, but he hears the rumblings, and if it's worthwhile, he'll agree to let me know things as long as I don't mention his name. That's what he said that he's hearing. But this is the thing, with WWE, if they do this, with WWE already charging the amount that they're charging to be there live, and then on top of that, they're going to add, $50. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than $50, to be honest with you. But whatever they charge to watch it from your home, Bob is right. I think they're going to lose a shit ton of money at that point.
What they'll charge is probably whatever UFC charges, and I don't watch that, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a couple of years ago, I think it was WrestleMania, what we on, 41, going on 42. I think it was 39 was available still on cable pay-per-view, and it was like almost $100.
Yeah.
For 2 nights. I'm good. I'll see the recap on Raw at the beginning of the show.
Look, I get that. I get that these guys. I get that. The heads. It's all about money to them. but they're doing some shit, man. I mean, with them at the last minute pulling WrestleMania away from New Orleans, just
I'm still mad at that.
And people can say what they want, that it's not been official yet. You can read between the lines, like I reported on. It's going back to Vegas. And why? Because of all the money they made there. They want to make that money again. It's greedy. They're getting, since they've been with TKO, they've gotten very greedy. I think TKO has gotten very greedy. So,
yeah.
Somebody was complaining that Vegas is the wrong place to have it because, it's not a normal venue. I'm like, well, they must have did something right because they're looking to go for year 2 there. So they must have made a shit ton of money.
They broke records.
That was a full stadium for not a normal venue for WrestleMania.
They've
been doing football stadiums for a while.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I think Vegas is actually a perfect place for WrestleMania because of that. And I'm not saying that they should be going back there. I'm just saying if we're going to talk about whether it's a perfect place or not, I would say that it is a perfect place because the fact of, you look what WrestleMania is, it's this huge production. What is Vegas? One big, huge
production.
Right. Absolutely. So it kind of fits. But wrestling is about appealing to all aspects of the fans. And going back to Vegas twice in a row, they're not doing that. And charging the money that they're charging, they're not doing that. TKO apparently does not know that wrestling fans, most of them are blue collar workers. And I get it. Thus far, people have been buying. So they haven't seen this big drop, but it's going to happen. I guarantee you it's going to happen. And it's not going to be because the matches are bad or anything like that. It's going to be because of money.
Yep.
All right. So next we go to Kairi Sane versus Liv. And that was part of the shocking night is Liv lost.
But we won.
Yes, but we won.
We all win.
That almost pinning combination she had there at the end.
Bob needs the hose. He's getting too hot.
Yep. Real quick, guys, and I don't mean to go back, but something that Mark and I forgot to mention on the podcast when we did the recap of AW's pay-per-view. There was a spot, it was the last spot of the match between Hayter and Monet. Monet hit Hayter with this move. I don't even know what the name of the move was. It just looked so brutal, and that's how she pinned Hayter. But I'm like, God damn. Go see the highlights of it. It looked nasty. I was like, God damn, man, she's gonna have a concussion after that.
Well, who's that guy that
she hit on her head?
Wasn't that masked guy in that match last night with Gable went in the corner and looked like Atlanta running in his head?
So yeah, I was gonna touch on that. The triple threat match with Penta and Dragon Lee and Chad. I think at some point in the match, all three of them were trying to kill each other. So it's like, you had Penta trying this crazy looking move. He had Dragon Lee in a gory bomb type move, and he was going to pile driver Gable.
That looked bad.
And Gable hit face first on the mat. He was okay. Then you have Dragon Lee get spiked in the overhead belly to belly in the corner. That looked bad. Then Dragon Lee flies through Penta on the table. It looked like you said, it looked like a missile. Like at some point, all three wrestlers try to kill each other. And you know when Chad Gable gets busted open? When Vikingo kicks him in the head with a speaker.
Yeah.
On that same spot he landed on it. Just
the soul out of his face was just solid red.
So yeah, I did hear something about the end of the match didn't look so great with Sasha, whatever her name is. And Jamie Hayter and Monet. Yeah, because apparently she had some problem finishing matches. But I haven't watched enough of her stuff in AEW to know, but apparently it was look lazy.
I don't get the
somebody.
appeal. I don't get the appeal of Jamie Hayter with all the other gorgeous women they got. What's up with Tony Khan?
Well, I told Mark during that match when Hayter was getting her ass kicked, I went, it would be awesome if somebody in the crowd threw her some Scooby snacks because she dresses and looks just like the Scooby characters.
The purple and green.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, what is she trying to do with that outfit?
I say you let Megan Bain be the champion of all the women on the wrestling business. All the shows.
That.
TNA, WWE.
She went on the free show. She went on the whole show.
Right. She went from being one of the headliners in the pay-per-views previous to being on a pre-show.
Stupid.
Hey, don't knock that.
So Kevin gets
Well, we got to see her for free, so that was okay.
Kevin gets everything situated for the pay-per-view. He spent like 10 minutes trying to figure out where to order and whatever. All right. Then he goes in the kitchen and I see it's Megan Bain and Penelope Ford and AJ and Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. And I pause it. He goes, "You paused it?" I go, "Yeah, Megan Bain's on. I didn't think you'd want to miss that." Oh yeah, good point.
And I finally got to see that spot with Harley Cameron and Anna Jay. Yeah, that one spot. Yeah,
I think that's the only part Bob remembers.
that was a different match.
And by the way,
from Saturday or something.
To save my marriage, Mark, I like the way she wrestles. Okay.
Well, she is good.
Totally professional.
I don't see the shoulder ninja around, so
I like the way she wrestles.
okay. Yeah, I read Playboy. I read Playboy for the articles.
I like the way she wrestles. I like it a lot.
Do they still have Playboy?
If they do, they got clothes on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now that's a guy that lived a life, Hugh Hefner. This Pulitzer.
Oh.
Why does this shit didn't just fall off?
He probably did.
All right, so getting back to the brass tacks here. Then we go to a Rhea vignette where she's calling it "Mommy in the Bank." I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm kind of over Rhea Ripley.
I am. I'm over babyface Rhea Ripley. She needs to go back to being a heel. As a babyface, does nothing for me. Doesn't excite me. Nothing. Even her style of wrestling is different. She's much more violent as a heel. So I want a heel.
I just don't want her to win Money in the Bank. She's like over the moon, and she doesn't need it.
Yeah, I don't want Charlotte to win, and I don't want Rhea Ripley to win.
Yeah, I don't hate any of the women. It's just I don't want people to win that's already been there and they're still at the top. They have plenty of more chances to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, if you got more than 4 title runs, get somebody fresh in there.
Honestly, I wanted Alexa Bliss to win because I think a match between her and Tiffy would be phenomenal. They complement each other as far as size-wise, even wrestling style-wise. I think that'd be a really good match.
I think Tiffany's a lot bigger than Alexa Bliss.
No, but if you compare,
she is, but I think the athleticism is there.
Right.
Oh,
right. Because you keep
that part.
You keep on putting Tiffy with these giants, the Charlotte Flairs, and these other big women. It doesn't complement her style and the things that she can do because she can't do it against these big women. But you put it against Alexa Bliss, I think that match would be really, really good, and it would complement both of their styles.
Are you calling Nia Jax fat? That's not nice.
I'm calling her large.
Or morbidly obese. But,
although the match with Charlotte at WrestleMania was great. But yeah, I get your point.
It was great, but we've seen it. Let's go to something we haven't seen.
Right. Let's not do the
only seen it once, though. Did we only see it once?
Yeah, it was only one time, but in that case, it needs to stay that way. Like, let's hold off on having rematches,
Right, absolutely. Although, I mean, look, usually with the briefcase, everyone's a briefcase. You don't have much of a match when they go in because it's usually after a match. That's when they cash in. But if that happened and Alexa Bliss actually got that title back, you would definitely see Tiffy chasing that title, trying to get it back from her, and we would end up with a full match between those two.
All right. So next we go to Lyra to the ring. Pretty much still hung up on Becky, and then Becky comes to the ring, and she was pretty delusional, saying that even though she lost, she still won because Lyra went to the hospital and she went home with her hot husband. And I about fell off my seat and spit my drink out when she said that.
Yeah. You know what I would love to see with Becky Lynch? Her going back to be taking care of her kid, not being in front of the camera anymore. I'm already sick of her.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of flavor for her too. The whole man thing was great for about 6 months. After that, it was just overblown. Less is more, and too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing.
Well, she
Well, you
could
know
come
what?
on. She could come hang out with me if she doesn't want to see her kid all the time. Just saying.
Look,
Although I'm not a huge redhead fan, I can make exceptions to the rule.
I don't think she's a real redhead, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, do the carpets match the drapes on that one?
not
Probably not in this era, but I don't have no drapes or carpet. Carpet, yeah. We talked about that earlier, didn't we? We talked about
when Becky Lynch
ask her
turned
hot husband.
when Becky Lynch turned heel, I thought maybe it would be interesting, but it's not. So get rid of Becky Lynch.
Give her something else to do.
Replace her with
something.
Replace her with Megan Bain. Damn it!
No, I don't want Megan to go to WWE.
I do.
I don't. They would ruin her. They would absolutely ruin her.
No.
They would WWE-nize her, as I call it, and completely change everything about her.
Although I would want to see her in a panties and bra match.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This isn't 2001.
Yeah, I was about to say wrong era.
A
man can dream, can he?
That's what I just said.
That's all he can do. That's all he can do.
I prefer when women are wrestling like the men. They're very violent, even having color. They need to do more of that shit. Because what was that last match on AEW pay-per-view where when
Anna Jay and Tay Mello?
No, with Tony Storm.
Tony Storm and Mariah.
Mariah May. Man,
mm-hmm.
The match was great, but
what happened to her?
I'm sorry, when they added blood to it, color to it, and it was real color. Oh man, it was just phenomenal after that.
What happened to Mariah May? Yeah, I read somewhere that Zoe Sharks had to retire.
No, I don't know if she had retired, but she had an injury.
Bad injury.
I saw something today that she announced she's retiring.
Oh,
could just be internet bullshit.
It could be.
I
don't know where Mariah May's at. But I know she's coming.
Yeah, you say I don't know where she is, but I wish I knew where she was at. Here,
she'll be coming back. And that's the match. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch between her and Tony Storm.
She was good looking.
So, but it depends who's holding the
Not
title.
that matters to me, of course.
I have a strong, as much as I don't want it to happen, I really think, after thinking about it, that the next pay-per-view, which is their quote-unquote WrestleMania, that Monet is going to take the title from Tony Storm.
Uh-oh.
Probably. I could see it.
She's better than people give her credit.
She is great. But at the same time, it's like the way that character built up. It took a while.
What do you think? Like one of the best Hell in a Cell matches with the women, or maybe it was a chamber. No, it had to be Hell in a Cell
it was Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I don't remember who she wrestled, but it was one of the best Hell in a Cell. Maybe Charlotte Flair, maybe it was Bailey. I don't know. It was one of the best Hell in a Cell matches ever.
Seems that Bailey delivers on Hell in a Cell.
Yep. Not to mention, Mercedes Monet's got quite the nice ass. Bob Cook said it. I don't discriminate.
As well I'm going to refrain from any comment I have.
We like to say an ass is an ass is an ass, and that's a nice ass.
By the way, to everyone's watching, yes, I did fully make Bob Cook take a sexual harassment class. He passed on paper, but obviously
he took the class, but he didn't
repeat.
If I was a woman,
but he did not read the handbook at all.
If I was a woman or even a man, if someone said I had a nice ass, I would go, "Well, thank you." So that can't be sexual harassment. It's a compliment. She probably does lots of Stairmaster, lots of squats, lots of other things we won't talk about to keep that. So she should be proud of it and proud that we think it's nice. Or I think. I don't know about you guys.
Let's move on.
All right, so then we go do a run-in with Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. And Karrion Kross doing his head games, and then he finally just said, Sami, you're never going to win the world title. And, I inclined to agree with this. I don't care how popular Sami gets. I just don't see him putting a strap on him. But I didn't think they'd put the strap on Jey Uso either, so.
Not to go back to it, but Scarlett looked really nice lurking in the shadows. Just saying.
It was nice to see her in the background for a change.
You know what? She really doesn't nothing for me. You know,
That's
she's attractive.
that's because she's his boyfriend, her boyfriend or his.
Yeah,
what,
no, she's attractive. Don't get me wrong
Mm.
and whatnot, but I just, she leaves me flat.
Really?
Yeah, I just, That's the same with Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson just leaves me flat.
You don't what? Now or when
What?
she was young?
Now.
Oh, okay. I was going to say when she was young, she was one of the most beautiful women ever walked the face of God's green earth. Holy
Pretty
crap.
much.
And she was no Raquel Welch, but she was close.
I'm not
Hey,
really.
Kevin, how you doing?
By the way, I got a picture of Raquel Welch right over there. She's so beautiful.
Oh, I've lost control of this podcast.
Yeah, you have.
This is Ring the Damn Bell, the wrestling
I'm just saying,
podcast.
hey,
We talk about everything but wrestling.
When a man on a show that could be seen by literally 4 billion people worldwide says that Pamela Anderson doesn't do nothing for him, we have to inquire what he's talking about. Today I get, but when she was young, forget about it.
I think she was. I didn't think she was attractive when she was young.
Oh my God. Have you ever heard of the show Baywatch? Go back and watch it. Come back in a week after you've studied every episode.
So this is for all the viewers. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Mark just blurt out like 10 different matches from different eras of wrestling. He's going to say a match and we're just going to start talking.
Did you ever see pictures of her when she was young before she was even famous? She's like Heather Locklear times 1,000,000. Holy crap. I get it. I get it. Your wife's in the other room and you can't say that. Go ahead. Give us a wink.
Wink. I like natural beauty. I do. I like women.
When she was young, she was naturally a beauty, and I naturally liked her then, and I naturally like her now when she was young.
She had to have makeup to be attractive when she was
But now, all women have that. I mean, geez, that's like,
Mark, my wife, beautiful. No makeup.
Yes, she is quite attractive. I wouldn't say beautiful because I'm married too, but yes, she's attractive.
Exception to every rule, but few and far between.
Of course, then again, my wife wouldn't be caught dead watching our podcast, so I could say whatever I want.
Like Pam Anderson walking around without makeup today, thinking it's okay. Hey, come on.
Mark,
cover it up.
Don't misunderstand. The only reason why my wife watches this podcast because after the podcast,
she watches it.
I watch it back so I can. I'm trying to become a better speaker, so I watch it back so I can know. Okay, you said too much or so too much, whatever. And she's in the room with me while I'm watching it back. Most of the time,
you just said it.
You're right.
I hate when people have podcasts and they go a lot, and a lot of people do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
So next we go to Seth versus Sammy versus Finn. This is actually a good match, but the ending really pissed me off. And it's not just because Seth won.
What?
No, you got Braun Breaker pulling whoever pinned Seth out of the ring and proceeds to beat the shit out of him. Where's the goddamn DQ on this?
It's a triple threat match, Mark.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry.
Why'd they bring that fat guy back to be in that group?
This is my question about. So this is my question about this faction. So most factions usually just have one really big guy. He's the one that usually handles everything. Do you guys think it makes a lot of sense to have 2 enforcers basically in this faction?
Unless they're going to change Steiner's role and showcase more of his technical style.
You know when it's good? It's when it adds something positive. They compared it to the Dangerous Alliance. You can't compare this group with Rick Rude and Larry Zbyszko and Arn Ennis and the great Bobby Eaton. Come on, wrestling fans, you ignorant bastards.
I agree.
God, there's no comparison. And that was a great faction, by the way.
One of the best matches ever back then, 1992. I was there. I was in the opening match against Diamond Dallas Page and Tommy Rich in a tag match. That's a whole nother story, but I had to put it in there because every once in a while you just have to brag. But it was the War Games 92, and the main event was like that Dangerous Alliance against Dustin and whoever the other guys were. It was one of the best, what do they call those? War Games matches of all time.
I agree.
And to be there in Jacksonville with that crowd, I watched it in the crowd to get that feeling. Man, it was amazing. Plus, Medusa looked really good back then. She climbed the cage, and it was just fun to watch. I don't know.
Yeah, that Dangerous Alliance, that was a hell of a fucking group. They had Austin in there. You know,
the
Oh,
anybody
that's
that
right,
got
Steve
Dangerous
Austin.
is
I
on
forgot
there.
about Steve Austin. Whoa,
Stunning Steve also was a part
damn!
of that group.
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yep. I forgot about Rick Root being in that group though.
Well, speaking of,
Yeah,
of
that was good.
Austin, here's a question for you guys. Do you know who actually put the Hollywood Blondes together?
Probably
I did it one
Dusty.
time, but I forgot.
Barry
Dusty
Wyndham.
or Paul?
Oh, Barry
Oh,
Windham.
Barry?
Oh,
Yeah.
Barry
That
Wyndham.
was wrong.
he was one of the best ever. There, Barry Windham.
Yeah,
Wasn't he in the
so-
Dangerous Alliance for a while? He's something else. I'm thinking of something else.
No, I don't think he was.
No, I think he was just with the Horsemen.
There's
I
the
don't
horse.
know.
So
I don't think he was with any.
When I say responsible, it might have, I'm sure it was the back office that actually put these guys together, but it was the Barry Windham promo with Brian that introduced Austin, saying you guys would be great together. So a bit of history.
That was a
Terry's-
great team too. Remember the Clash of Champions when Ric Flair came back from the WWE back in
Yep.
'93,
Yep.
and it was Arn and him against Pillman and Austin. Awesome match. Unbelievable.
Yep. By the
Watch
way,
it
my
on
buddy,
the WWE Network, Peacock, you idiots.
Terry
say that.
Ziller, who is going to be on the podcast on, I think it's Friday.
Is he dying?
He's not dying.
I don't care then. I don't care.
No, he's dying. He's dying
I'm
laughing
just
according to the comment.
Yeah. No, he said, "You guys are a riot. I'm dying over here." Thanks, Terry, for
What, he said he's dying over here? I thought you said he wasn't dying. Holy crap. Get your story straight.
Oh dear God.
Kurt, if you're watching,
The other
this,
guy's
my
going to get
friend-
pissed because he's stealing his gimmick. You know, dying. Oh, Bob. I'm
my
heartless. I'm heartless. Heartless.
Oh, Kevin, you've lost total control here.
Oh my God! Kurt,
Yeah,
if you're
so anyway,
watching this, are you sure you want to join this group of idiots?
So, Mark, weren't we talking about like the Steiners versus the Head Shrinkers or something? What match were we talking about?
I don't know. We got anarchy in the podcast
Steiners.
tonight. Oh my God.
I think we were
My
talking about
stomach
like
hurts
Great.
from laughing.
We were
Oh,
talking about
man.
Great Muta versus Sting or something. I don't remember what we were talking about.
Great Muta versus
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan. Did you ever see that match? Awesome match. Japan.
I've watched it like a million times on YouTube. I
Awesome
love
match.
that
Oh, Bob, but Hulk Hogan can't wrestle. Guess what? Wrong.
Pull that
Idiots.
tape. Pull up the VHS. We're ready.
Exactly.
He knew Japan, but for some reason, when he came to the United States, especially WWE, he kind of stopped wrestling.
He had great matches with Terry Funk. He had great matches with Harley Race, Don Morocco, the giant Big John Studd. Come on, give the man a break. Don't be a hater because everybody else is. I love
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater,
No,
and I will not deny what Hulk Hogan did for the
Rock
industry.
versus Hogan is one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time from a dramatic spectacle standpoint. Who was in it? Hulk Hogan and The Rock.
But if someone asked me who was, and I hate the question, but who was my Mount Rushmore, Hulk Hogan wouldn't be there.
You got to be kidding me because Mount Rushmore shouldn't be based. If you're going to go to your own opinion, Mount Rushmore can be based on whatever you like.
Well,
You know,
right,
if you
I'm
like
talking about
Andre,
my
whatever.
opinion.
But if you want to be a real Mount Rushmore, he has to be on it.
All right, so
You
real
always got
quick.
to have Gorgeous George, Hulk
I
Hogan.
agree.
You got to have Gorgeous George
All
on
right,
every
all
Mount
right,
Rushmore.
Kevin.
And I'm not
who's your-
talking about the overbearing, obnoxious whore, Gorgeous George, that got thrown out of a strip club because of the legendary Evil Knievel way back in the day. I'm talking about the real Gorgeous George.
All right. So real quick, Kevin, your Mount
Throw your way.
Rushmore. Who are your top
Oh, man.
four?
Mine would be Mr. Wrestler number 2.
You know, I wrestled him once. Just had to throw that in there.
Adrian Adonis.
He was great.
My other guy would be Bruiser Brody. And my fourth guy would be well, you guys won't, he's going to disagree with me with this, but and I'm being sincere right now. I put Bob Cook on it because
Oh, come on. That's
no, I'm being serious. Dude, I've told you how many times.
yeah, I get
As a
that.
kid-
but that's,
Cook.
you know,
As no wait,
Bob
as a
Cook can't
kid,
throw punches like Dustin Rhodes.
I know Bob Cook. He's a complete idiot. That's not right.
as a kid, growing up watching wrestling, I always loved Bob Cook. This is my opinion, and
All right,
Bob
all right.
Cook was great.
Let
Bob,
me clarify something. Well, I'll go what?
Your Mount Rushmore. Who are they?
If you're going my personal Mount Rushmore, Terry Funk, Harley Race, Superstar Billy Graham, and Jerry the King Lawler.
George?
Don't ask me that. I can't name my 5 favorite ice cream flavors. You want me to name a Mount Rushmore right now?
But if you want a real route Mount Rushmore, Gorgeous George, Bruno, Hulk, and Steve Austin.
See, I gotta go Benoit. I gotta go Guerrero. Nick Bockwinkel.
Oh,
Ric
awesome,
Flair.
awesome. I've been watching a lot of Nick Bockwinkel shoot interviews. Very entertaining.
I absolutely
I really
despise
couldn't do a Rushmore.
I absolutely despised Nick Bockwinkel when I was a kid, and as I got older, I realized how great and special he actually was.
Yeah, great guy too.
If I was able to add a 5th person, it would be Buddy Rose.
He was the president of the Cali Flag Club for a few years. Just brought that up because
Now who
Kevin's
doesn't
a
get
member.
mentioned? Who doesn't get mentioned a lot? And
Buddy Rose was great too, by the way.
Buddy Lindell.
He was good.
He always reminded me of Tommy Rich too much, though. They were like interchangeable.
Both good though.
Yep.
And I didn't care for Tommy Rich, to be honest.
Tommy Rich was a big star in the early 80s.
Oh, I know he was, but I didn't care. What always bothered me about him, and it wasn't a knock on him, is they always wanted to discredit his NWA world title because it was only 3 days. Now they're celebrating guys that got it for 45 seconds.
I think that who I was going to mention, but go ahead and talk for a second because I forgot my thought.
Oh, I wanted to go ahead and clarify something. When people bring up Bob Cook has a great punch, I never started it, and I don't say that. That was started by Bill Watts. Just want to make that clear.
And I agreed with him.
Now, in my defense, though, Bob said that his first match, or Dustin's first match, was against Bob. I said, well, could it be that the pupil surpassed the teacher? And Bob's reply was no.
Yeah, well, I'm just kidding. I love Dustin. He's always been good to me. I worked with him many times after that. Never had a bad match thanks to him. He does have a great punch. But again, I just want people to clarify that I never say I have a great punch. It's other people that do, and you always appreciate that, whether it's true or not. You just go, oh, thank you.
Again, though, I've never seen Bob's punches. So
go look up Bob Cook Power of the Punch.
All right, I'll go look it up.
George, I want to know your 4.
Although that's a music video, you got to hear the punches because some of them sound really good.
I don't know, man, because I look at a lot of old wrestlers. I look at a lot of dudes. I've gotten by a few years, so it's like I know Steve Austin's on there because I watched him. That was one of the first wrestlers I've ever seen. When I compare Hogan and Flair, I'm gonna go wrestling wise. I'm gonna go with Ric Flair. So that's 2. Now after that, I don't know, man, because I like Steamboat growing up. I like a lot of different people growing up in the 80s and 90s. So it's like it's hard to put that. I got those 4 guys. I know Steve Austin's up there, like I said, because it's like I watched him wrestle with Chris Adams back in the day. And there's a lot of personal mental things where I was just like, do I really like that guy that much? You know what I'm saying? Like to put him on an all-time top list and who's my top 4, that might change just because of the eras I grew up in. Wrestling may not always be important.
Right. You know what I find very interesting though is none of us mentioned The Rock, and yet he is labeled as one of the greatest of all time.
Well, it's true though.
Yeah,
from a character standpoint, a money standpoint, an attention to the business standpoint. Oh yeah.
And see, that's what I battle with the attitude there. I was like, who was the guy? Was it Steve Austin or The Rock? Because we made a big deal about them fighting each other.
That's why I go with Gorgeous George, because without Gorgeous George, a lot of this may never existed. He brought the entertainment. Without Bruno was monstrously famous in the 60s and 70s. And then Hulk came along and took it all to a level that no one ever dreamed. And then Austin, when wrestling was on a downside, came up and boom, bursted it. There was a time when you couldn't go anywhere and not see a Austin 316 shirt every day you went somewhere.
Right.
And then The Rock came along. So it has to, when you only got 4 people on that Mount Rushmore. And of course, a lot of people say it should be true, like wrestling, go in eras. Like you could go Gorgeous George, Buddy Rogers, Lou Thez, from that era. And then the next era, Bruno and
da-da-da-da. Completely forgot about Lou Thez.
Yep.
But again, it's all a matter of an opinion anyway.
Yeah, it
I
is.
agree. 100%.
But again, those guys made amazing impact. I mean, Gorgeous George was in movies and on TV shows and playing celebrity golf with Bob Hope and all the greats back in those days. Anyways, yeah.
Who's that Mexican wrestler? Mil Macaris?
Mil Mascaras, yeah. In
Yeah.
Mexico, my God, or El Santo in Mexico. They had 500,000 people at his funeral. That's how much that guy was over.
Yep. But anyway, guys, that is somewhat of the review of Raw tonight.
Yeah,
we didn't even finish the show.
No, we
I
did.
blame Liv Morgan's ass for going off the kilter again.
Mark didn't like the finish, so we don't finish it.
What about you? What about you, George? What you think about the finish and the ending?
I mean, it made sense to what they're doing. They explained why Bronson Reed was in the group at the beginning of the show, and CM Punk fooled him again. Hey, he's not here. Yeah, I am. And it's not that it's not a usual WWE finish, but I mean, I had no problem with the qualifying matches with Money in the Bank were both good. So I mean, the match ended with looked like it was going to be a boring show due to the start of the show. So I mean, it capped it off well.
So here's a question for you guys. Something and it don't know me last night. When did we start seeing the baby faces start running out the ring into the crowd like the heels normally do? Normally the baby faces come in, they stand tall.
Well, I mean, you got a guy who could eat CM Punk. Then you got the other three. You got four guys. I mean, or wait, three guys. You're going to run out. You're not going to stand there and fight them. It'll look unrealistic, right?
But as you know, Bob, if you go watch wrestling, it's always been, even if that babyface was outnumbered, the babyface somehow always came through. You've never seen him run out the ring, even if he got his ass kicked.
I think a lot of it has to do with CM Punk during that time when he was getting ready to leave last time because he was unhappy. He kept going into the crowd, just playing into that maybe. I don't know nothing.
Hey, I think it's
double negative, therefore it's positive. Therefore, you do know.
No, that's what Bob said. He's outnumbered by bigger guys. He outsmarted the bad guys, so he's getting away as a change of them beating him down and leaving him in a pile of his own blood.
And for the record, I never liked CM Punk, but then I met him at the Cali for LA Club a couple of years ago. He was cool as hell. So there you go.
Well, now we can say that's the Monday Night Raw review.
And on a positive note,
oh God,
Liv Morgan's ass, CM Punk is cool. That's a double positive.
Guys, you see that? Like, subscribe, and share on the screen. Please do that. Tomorrow night we're having a great guy on the podcast.
Send me an email, or not an email, like a message to remind me.
I will. The gentleman wrestled for 30 plus years. I spent a few hours talking to him on the phone. Seems like a great guy. He's be coming on to tell his story. He's on.
Let me guess, he was the original Masked Superstar. We know how these guys tell stories.
He only has 12 months to live, so why he chose this podcast, I don't know. But I'm honored for him to be coming on.
What's wrong? Was he got cancer or something?
We'll talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's not my business, anyways.
They'll be talking about tomorrow.
All right, man. I got Bob Cook's Power of the Punch on. Power of the Punch, Bob Cook tribute song.
Oh,
the Cooker Punch.
Yeah, there's more than one. Yeah, sure.
Bob, you got anything to promote?
Nope.
Bob Cook.
I'll be at the gym tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be at the gym tomorrow around 5 on the treadmill going, why am I here? But then there'll be that one girl that's over in the corner that's always there. Got a nice ass too. I'll go, well, I don't know why I'm here. I wish I wasn't, but I'm glad I am. Oh, that kind of thing.
Niner versus Bob Cook and the Cuban Assassin, Part 2.
Oh yeah, you got to watch the punch one. That's even though there's a couple good punches in there. A couple good punches. I got a couple good punches on the Rick Steiner there.
George, you got anything to promote?
Yes, I do. I was waiting for this part, I think. So I will have the pleasure and honor of being at LWA Louisiana Wrestling Alliance Fan Expo. It's called Heartland Heat this Saturday. It's going to be a fan expo type, like fan festival / wrestling show that starts at like 2:00 for VIP members that are able to get tickets for it on Ticketmaster. The biggest thing out of this, we have a couple of legends and a current star, or almost legend now because he's barely on TV. Mr. Jay Lethal is the biggest guest on the show. He will not be a part of the wrestling show, but he will be there before for the Panic show. We also have the grappler Lynn Benton, and we have
he's cool.
The one man gang / Akeem will be there. Mr. Denton and Mr. One Man Gang are friends of the crew, so it's very, very fun when they're
I thought
around.
he was dead.
Lynn's got a lot of great stories.
No, the One Man Gang is not dead, and Lynn is a very good dude.
Yep. So, George, since you are officially part of this podcast, your job is to get these guys to come on this podcast, man.
By the way, I do have something to plug.
Go ahead.
I will be wrestling again this next Friday at a strip club. Unfortunately, there won't be a ring there, and they don't even know I'm coming. Oh!
Mark, I know you have nothing to plug.
No, I'm gonna watch Dick Murdoch versus Bob Cook, and then
jeez.
and
Mark,
then we're gonna watch.
Hey, yeah.
Damn,
You know what the best?
putting over
You know what the best
Bob
part
punches
about
now.
that match was? I threw a couple punches on Murdoch, and he always sells real good. And after the match, he goes up to the mic, and he's talking about the match. He's going like this. Tony, the boy never touched me. And I thought it was hilarious because I didn't.
Then I'm gonna watch Barbara Armstrong under a mask versus Bob Cook.
What? Oh, Brad Armstrong.
Yeah, Brad Armstrong.
I thought you said Bob Armstrong.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, Brad Armstrong was awesome. One of the best ever. One of the nicest guys ever. He's a guy you wanted in your dressing room. As soon as he walked, man, he'd make you laugh. It's a long story. I'll keep it short. He was an awesome guy. But he's dead, like that guy that's going to be here tomorrow. Uh-oh. He did it again.
No, he's not dead yet, Jim.
Oh,
Well,
man.
Jim.
He's not dead yet, Jim.
Ooh, Van Hamer versus Jobber Bob Cook.
Oh, you know, that's the match where Bill Watts actually went and made a point that I had a good punch in front of everybody. True story.
Anderson
Basically,
versus
what we're
Bob
getting
Cook.
at is
Oh, hey.
it's Mark said that Goldust has better punches than Bob Cook.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a few matches on there with Goldust, or not Goldust, but Dustin Run.
All right.
Oh, that's quite a bit on Amazon here or YouTube.
What do you got to say, brother?
Oh, ring the damn bell. I got to get to Bob Cook
We got to
punches.
get out of here, man.
Oh, now he's going to start making fun of those. Just turn
I
your
can't make
elevator
fun of
music
him till
on
I
and be
see
quiet.
him.
Oh my